Captain Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Earth naval ship Shadow Weaver, watching the distant stars through quantum-filtered glass. The massive stealth carrier represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, and perhaps their last hope for survival. Captain, the Nexari fleet has been detected in the Arcturus sector. Lieutenant James Rodriguez reported, his holographic image flickering beside her. 300 ships and counting. Sarah's fingers traced the cool surface of her quantum resonance medallion, a reminder of the breakthrough that had changed everything. 6 months ago, humanity had discovered how to manipulate quantum fields to bend reality itself. The Shadow Weaver was the first ship equipped with this technology, able to exist in a state of quantum uncertainty, neither fully here nor there. "Have they detected us?" Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer. The quantum veil technology made the Shadow Weaver as invisible as a ghost. "Negative, Captain. We're running silent in quantum flux. To their sensors, we're just background radiation." The Nexari had arrived in human space 18 months ago, their crystalline ships darkening the skies of Earth's outer colonies. They communicated only once: submit or perish. Humanity chose neither. Sarah turned from the viewport, her dark eyes reflecting the holographic tactical display. Status of the Aegis colony. Population 40,000, Captain. Evacuation protocols are at 30%, but the Nexari will arrive before they can complete the transfer. Sarah had grown up on colony worlds like Aegis. She knew the fear in those people's hearts, watching alien warships approach while hoping evacuation ships would arrive in time. But this time would be different. Alert all hands. Begin quantum field initialization. We're going to show the Nexari something new. Throughout the massive ship, quantum generators hummed to life. The Shadow Weaver's hull began to shift between states of matter, its very existence becoming uncertain at the quantum level. To an outside observer, the ship would appear to fade like morning mist. Engineering reports quantum field stability at optimal levels. Rodriguez announced, "We're ready for phase shift." Sarah took her command chair, feeling the subtle vibration of reality itself bending around them. "Send word to Fleet Command. Operation Quantum Shield is commencing. The Shadow Weaver will demonstrate the effectiveness of the veil." The bridge crew worked with practiced precision, their movements sure despite the revolutionary nature of their mission. They had trained for months in simulator chambers, but this would be the first real combat test of the quantum veil. Nexari fleet approaching Aegis defense perimeter, Tactical Officer Maya Wong reported. Their formation indicates standard conquest protocol. They're not expecting resistance. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Plot an intercept course. Keep us in quantum flux until my mark. Let's show them why they should have feared humanity's response." The Shadow Weaver moved through space like a phantom, its quantum state making it immune to traditional sensors. The Nexari fleet grew larger on their displays. Crystalline dreadnoughts arranged in perfect geometric patterns, their weapon ports glowing with contained energy. "They're charging weapons," Wong reported, "preparing to fire on Aegis's orbital platforms." "Not today," Sarah said quietly. "All hands, prepare for combat phase shift. Weapons, target their command ship's propulsion matrix. When we shift back to normal space, we'll have 3 seconds before they can respond." The bridge fell silent as the massive alien fleet filled their view screen. The Nexari were methodical, precise, and utterly predictable. They had never faced an enemy that could bend quantum physics itself. Phase shift in 3, 2, 1. The Shadow Weaver snapped into normal space directly beneath the Nexari command ship. For a precious moment, the alien vessel's crystalline surface reflected their sudden appearance like a mirror. Fire. Quantum-enhanced plasma beams lanced out from the Shadow Weaver's weapon ports, striking with surgical precision. The Nexari command ship's propulsion matrix shattered, its perfect crystalline structure fracturing under the assault. "Direct hits. Enemy vessel is dropping out of formation," Wong reported, excitement breaking through her professional demeanor. "They're trying to target us, but were already shifting back to quantum flux. The Shadow Weaver phased out of normal space as energy beams from the Nexari fleet passed harmlessly through their quantum-uncertain form. On their tactical displays, they could see the alien fleet breaking their perfect formation, trying to protect their wounded command ship. "Send the signal to Fleet Command," Sarah ordered. The quantum veil works exactly as designed. The Nexari just learned that humanity's space isn't as defenseless as they thought. Throughout the bridge, crew members shared looks of fierce pride. This was just the beginning. The moment when humanity proved they could fight back against an enemy that had thought them primitive and weak. Sarah watched the Nexari fleet's confusion with grim satisfaction. Plot another attack vector. Let's show them what happens when they underestimate human ingenuity. The age of conventional warfare just ended. They just don't know it yet. The Shadow Weaver moved through quantum-shifted space like a predator, preparing to strike again. The war for humanity's survival had entered a new phase, and Sarah Chen intended to make sure the Nexari remembered this day as the moment they learned to fear human innovation. Above Aegis Colony, crystalline warships scattered in disarray, their perfect formations shattered by an enemy they couldn't see or fight. Humanity had changed the rules of warfare itself, and the galaxy would never be the same. The holographic war room aboard the Shadow Weaver pulsed with red warning signals as Captain Sarah Chen studied the tactical overlay. A dozen Nexari hunter-killer groups swept the Procyon sector, searching for the phantom ship that had humiliated their command fleet. They changed their search patterns, Lieutenant Rodriguez noted, manipulating the holographic display. The Nexari are adapting faster than we anticipated. Sarah watched the crystalline ship's movements with growing concern. The aliens had abandoned their rigid formations, spreading out in unpredictable patterns that covered more space. They were learning. "Show me their sensor coverage," she ordered. The display shifted, revealing overlapping fields of detection. The Nexari had tripled their sensor power, attempting to pierce the quantum veil. Dr. Elena Santos, the quantum physicist who had helped develop the veil technology, stepped forward. Her dark circles under her eyes testified to sleepless nights analyzing the Nexari's countermeasures. "They're trying to detect quantum fluctuations now. Not our ship directly, but the ripples we leave in space-time. Can they track us?" Sarah asked, her hand unconsciously touching her quantum resonance medallion. "Not yet," Elena replied, "but they're getting closer. The quantum veil doesn't just bend light and energy. It bends probability itself. The Nexari are starting to understand that." The ship's AI, Araya, manifested as a blue holographic presence. "Captain, priority transmission from Fleet Command. The Nexari have launched simultaneous attacks on 3 human colonies. Estimated civilian casualties will be total without immediate intervention." Sarah's jaw tightened. The Nexari were forcing their hand, trying to make the Shadow Weaver reveal itself. "Show me." The tactical display expanded, showing 3 colonial systems under attack: Eden's Hope, New Mesopotamia, and Haven's Rest, each home to millions of humans. The Nexari fleet had split into 3 prongs, each more than capable of overwhelming conventional defenses. "They're betting we can't be in 3 places at once," Rodriguez observed. Sarah's eyes narrowed. "Then let's prove them wrong." "Dr. Santos, what's the status of the quantum field generators?" "We've improved efficiency by 23%, Elena reported. "The veil is stronger than ever, but—" She hesitated. "But what?" "We've detected unusual quantum harmonics when maintaining the field for extended periods. The fabric of space-time doesn't like being fooled for too long." Sarah absorbed this information, her tactical mind already formulating a plan. Araya, calculate maximum safe duration for continuous quantum shifting. The AI's avatar pulsed as it processed. 8 hours, 17 minutes at current power levels before quantum harmonics reach critical threshold. "That's enough time," Sarah decided. "Plot a course for Eden's Hope. Lieutenant Rodriguez, send word to the Spectre and the Phantom. It's time to reveal that the Shadow Weaver isn't alone anymore. Throughout the ship, crew members straightened at their stations. They had known this moment would come, when humanity would reveal that they had built not one quantum ship, but 3. The Nexari think they can force us out of hiding by threatening multiple colonies, Sarah addressed her crew. They don't realize they've given us the perfect opportunity to show them the true scope of humanity's quantum fleet. In 3 different sectors of space, 3 quantum-veiled ships prepared to strike. The Shadow Weaver, the Spectre, and the Phantom, each carrying humanity's revolutionary technology, each commanded by captains who had trained together for this moment. Begin quantum shift sequence, Sarah ordered. Let's remind the Nexari why they should fear the dark spaces between stars. The Shadow Weaver phased between quantum states, its very existence becoming uncertain. On the tactical display, Sarah watched as signals from the other quantum ships confirmed they were doing the same. Multiple Nexari warships approaching Eden's Hope, Wam reported. They're launching drop ships for planetary invasion. Not today, Sarah said quietly. Weapons, target those drop ships the moment we phase shift. Timing has to be perfect. We strike, shift, and disappear before they can lock onto us. The bridge hummed with tension as they closed on the alien fleet. Through quantum-filtered sensors, they watched the crystalline ships moving with deadly purpose toward the colony. Phase shift in 3, 2, 1. The Shadow Weaver snapped into normal space directly above the Nexari drop ship formation. For a brief moment, Sarah saw the alien vessels in perfect clarity, their crystalline surfaces reflecting the light of Eden's Hope's sun. Fire. Quantum-enhanced weapons lashed out, each shot calculated to maximize damage in their brief window of opportunity. Dropships shattered, their perfect crystalline structures unable to withstand weapons fired from what seemed like impossible angles. Multiple confirmed kills, Wam reported as they shifted back to quantum flux. Nexari fleet is responding, but they're firing our last position. Similar reports flooded in from the other colonies. The Spectre and the Phantom had struck simultaneously, creating chaos across 3 sectors of space. The Nexari's perfect invasion plans crumbled as quantum ships appeared and disappeared like ghosts, striking with impossible precision. They're trying to establish a communication pattern between their fleets, Rodriguez noted, attempting to coordinate a response. Sarah smiled grimly. Let them try. By the time they figure out how to fight one quantum ship, they'll have to face dozens. Humanity isn't just learning to bend reality. We're rewriting the rules of war itself. In the darkness of space, 3 quantum ships danced between states of existence, protecting human colonies from an enemy that had thought victory certain. The Nexari were learning a harsh lesson about human ingenuity, and this was just the beginning. Aboard the Shadow Weaver, Sarah Chen watched her tactical displays with fierce pride. The quantum fleet had changed everything, but the true test was still to come. The Nexari would adapt, would evolve their tactics, and humanity would need to stay one step ahead in this deadly dance between physics and war. The quantum laboratory aboard the Shadow Weaver thrummed with energy as Dr. Elena Santos studied the holographic readouts with growing concern. The room's walls displayed cascading quantum calculations, each revealing a troubling pattern. The Nexari aren't just adapting, Elena explained to Captain Chen, her fingers tracing lines of quantum interference patterns. They're beginning to understand the fundamental principles behind the veil. Sarah watched the data streams, remembering simpler times when warfare was just about weapons and shields. How close are they to developing a counter? They've started saturating space with quantum detection fields. Elena gestured to a new display showing Nexari sensor patterns. They're looking for microscopic tears in space-time. The Wakar ships leave when shifting between quantum states. The ship's AI projected a tactical overlay showing Nexari fleet movements across 3 sectors. Enemy vessels have modified their crystal lattice structures. They're attempting to resonate with quantum fluctuations. Sarah's expression hardened. The Nexari were proving more adaptable than anyone had anticipated. But humanity had more surprises in store. "Show me Project Eclipse," she ordered. Elena hesitated before entering her security codes. A new hologram appeared, a modified version of the quantum veil technology. "We're calling it the quantum lance. Instead of using quantum uncertainty to hide, it weaponizes the principle itself." The simulation showed a concentrated beam of quantum energy, capable of forcing matter into a state of probability collapse. Anything hit by the beam would temporarily lose cohesion at the quantum level. "The calculations are solid," Elena continued, "but there are risks. Using quantum uncertainty as a weapon could have unforeseen consequences on spacetime itself." Sarah studied the simulation, watching as test objects phased in and out of reality when struck by the quantum lance. "How long until it's ready?" "The prototype is installed, but it needs testing. We're dealing with fundamental forces of reality, Sarah. One miscalculation could tear a hole in space itself." Before Sarah could respond, Araya's avatar pulsed red. "Priority alert. Nexari forces have launched a major offensive against the Arcturus defense line. They're using new quantum detection arrays." The tactical display shifted, showing massive crystalline structures being deployed by Nexari ships. The arrays formed intricate patterns in space, creating a web of quantum detection fields. "They're trying to force us into normal space," Rodriguez reported from the bridge. "Those arrays will detect any quantum shifting within 10 light minutes." Sarah's mind raced through options. The Nexari had found a way to limit their greatest advantage, but they had also created an opportunity. "Dr. Santos, what would happen if we triggered a quantum lance directly into one of those detection arrays?" Elena's eyes widened as she ran the calculations. The quantum resonance would cascade through their entire detection network. It could collapse their whole sensor grid, but, she paused, it could also create a quantum shockwave unlike anything we've seen. "Better than letting them trap us," Sarah decided. "Alert the Spectre and the Phantom. We're going to show the Nexari why they should have been more careful what they wished for." Throughout the ship, crew members prepared for battle. The prototype quantum lance hummed with potential energy, its systems interfacing with the ship's quantum field generators. "All hands, this is the captain." Sarah's voice echoed through the ship. "The Nexari think they found a way to counter our quantum advantage. They're about to learn that humanity's mastery of quantum physics goes far deeper than they imagined." The Shadow Weaver moved through quantum-shifted space, approaching the massive Nexari detection grid. Behind them, the Spectre and Phantom took up flanking positions, their own quantum fields carefully modulated to avoid early detection. "Quantum lance charged to 80%, Elena reported, her hands dancing across control surfaces. "The weapon's quantum signature is stable, but we'll only get one shot before the arrays detect us." Sarah watched the Nexari fleet through quantum-filtered sensors. Their crystalline ships had arranged themselves in a complex three-dimensional pattern, creating overlapping fields of fire around their detection arrays. "They're expecting us to try something," Rodriguez observed. "Those formations are designed to catch us the moment we phase shift. Then let's exceed their expectations." Sarah smiled grimly. "Prepare for synchronized quantum shift. The moment we appear, all ships fire quantum lances at the primary array junction." The bridge fell silent as final preparations were made. They were about to attempt something unprecedented, using quantum uncertainty itself as a weapon against an enemy that thought they had mastered its detection. Quantum shift in 3, 2, 1. 3 human ships snapped into normal space simultaneously, their quantum lances already charged and targeted. For a brief moment, Sarah saw surprise ripple through the Nexari fleet as they realized their prey had willingly entered their trap. Fire. 3 beams of concentrated quantum energy lashed out, striking the central junction of the Nexari detection array. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then reality itself seemed to shudder. The crystalline structure of the array began to fluctuate, its matter shifting between states of quantum probability. The effect cascaded outward, racing through the quantum detection grid like lightning through a metal web. Quantum cascade spreading through enemy formation, Wang reported, her voice tight with tension. Their ships, they're losing quantum cohesion. Through the view screen, Sarah watched as Nexari vessels began to phase in and out of reality, their perfect crystalline forms unable to maintain stability as quantum uncertainty rippled through their fleet. By all that's holy, Elena breathed, staring at her readings. We didn't just disrupt their detection grid. We forced their entire fleet into a state of quantum flux. They're experiencing time itself differently in there. The Nexari fleet hung in space like a ghost armada, their ships flickering between states of existence as they struggled with forces they had never imagined possible. Humanity hadn't just avoided their trap, they had turned the very nature of reality against them. Signal Fleet Command, Sarah ordered, watching the chaos unfold. The counterstrike was successful, but the Nexari now know the full extent of our quantum capabilities. The next phase of this war will be fought on levels even we don't fully understand. As the Shadow Weaver and its sister ships shifted back to quantum flux, Sarah Chen knew they had crossed a threshold. The war had evolved beyond conventional physics into something new, a conflict that would reshape humanity's understanding of existence itself. The quantum readouts aboard the Shadow Weaver painted a disturbing picture. Dr. Elena Santos stared at the cascading data streams, her face illuminated by the holographic displays, showing space-time distortions spreading across the battle sector. The fabric of reality is becoming unstable, she reported, highlighting regions of quantum turbulence. Our use of the quantum lance didn't just affect the Nexari fleet. It's creating tears in the quantum field itself. Sarah Chen studied the tactical display, watching rifts in space-time pulse like wounds in reality. The Nexari fleet that had been caught in the quantum cascade was still phasing in and out of normal space, their crystalline ships existing in multiple states simultaneously. Multiple Nexari vessels approaching, Rodriguez announced from his station. They're different, Captain. Their crystal structures have changed. The tactical display showed the approaching ships. Their once perfect crystalline forms had become chaotic, almost organic in appearance. The Nexari had adapted their technology in ways no one had predicted. They'd weaponized their own quantum instability, Elena realized, analyzing the readings. Those ships aren't just detecting quantum fluctuations, they're generating them. Araya's avatar flickered with unusual static. Warning: enemy vessels are emanating quantum interference patterns. They appear to be attempting to disrupt our quantum veil. The deck plates vibrated as reality itself shuddered around them. Through the quantum-filtered view screens, Sarah watched space ripple like water, probability waves colliding as two different approaches to quantum manipulation clashed. All hands, brace for quantum turbulence, Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the growing chaos. Dr. Santos, what exactly are we dealing with? Elena's fingers danced across control surfaces, trying to make sense of the readings. The Nexari ships are generating anti-probability fields. They're not trying to detect us anymore. They're trying to force local space into quantum collapse. The implications were staggering. The Nexari had taken their defeat and turned it into a weapon, using their understanding of quantum uncertainty to attack the very principles that gave humanity its advantage. Multiple quantum rifts forming, Wang reported, her voice tight. The Spectre is reporting critical fluctuations in their veil systems. The Phantom has lost quantum coherence in sectors 3 through 7. Sarah felt the weight of command pressing down as reality itself became unreliable. They had pushed the boundaries of physics too far, too fast, and now space itself was beginning to break down. "Show me New Alexandria," she ordered. The tactical display shifted to show humanity's primary research center, home to over 1 million scientists and engineers. The facility that had birthed the quantum veil technology now lay directly in the path of the advancing Nexari fleet. We can't let them reach those research labs, Sarah decided. The quantum secrets in those databases would give them everything they need to perfect their anti-probability weapons. Elena looked up from her calculations, her face pale. "Sarah, we have another problem. The quantum rifts are starting to merge. If this continues, we could see a cascading collapse of local space-time. The ship shuddered as another wave of quantum turbulence washed over them. Through the view screens, reality flickered like a faulty hologram, probability waves colliding in chaotic patterns. Options, Sarah demanded. We could try to stabilize the quantum field, Elena suggested, but it would mean shutting down our veil. We'd be visible, vulnerable. And if we don't, Elena's expression was grim. Then we risk tearing a permanent hole in the fabric of space. The Nexary's quantum weapons combined with our technology. It's too much stress on reality itself. Sarah touched her quantum resonance medallion, feeling its subtle vibration as it tried to maintain coherence in the chaos. They had created this technology to save humanity, but now it threatened to destroy the very nature of space itself. ARIA signaled the Spectre and Phantom, she ordered. All ships prepare for emergency quantum stabilization. We're going to have to fight this battle in normal space. As the crew prepared for their riskiest maneuver yet, Sarah watched the approaching Nexary fleet through increasingly unstable quantum sensors. The aliens had turned their own quantum victory against them, forcing humanity to choose between their greatest advantage and the integrity of space-time itself. Begin quantum field shutdown, she commanded. Let's show the Nexary that humanity doesn't need to hide between quantum states to win this war. The Shadow Weaver's quantum generators spun down, their distinctive hum fading as the ship phased back into normal space. Around them, reality seemed to sigh with relief as the quantum stress decreased. Nexary fleet adjusting course, Rodriguez reported. They're moving to surround us. Sarah smiled grimly. The Nexary thought they had won, forcing humanity's quantum ships into normal space. They were about to learn that quantum technology wasn't humanity's only advantage. Weapons, target their quantum generators, she ordered. Let's remind them why humanity was a force to be reckoned with long before we learned to bend reality. Above New Alexandria, space itself held its breath as two civilizations prepared to clash in normal space for the first time since the quantum war began. The battle for reality itself was about to enter its final phase. The battle above New Alexandria unfolded in normal space, a stark contrast to the quantum warfare that had defined the conflict until now. The Shadow Weaver's conventional weapons blazed, their targeting systems no longer confused by quantum uncertainty. Direct hits on 3 enemy vessels, Wong reported, her fingers dancing across tactical controls. Their quantum generators are destabilizing, but they're still coming. Through the clear view screen, Sarah watched crystalline shards scatter across space as Nexary ships took damage. Without the quantum veil, both sides fought in reality's natural state, where physics behaved as it should. Dr. Santos, Sarah called. What's the status of local space-time? Elena studied her quantum readings, relief visible on her face. The rifts are beginning to heal. Without active quantum manipulation, reality is reasserting itself. But, she hesitated, highlighting a new reading. But what? The Nexary aren't shutting down their quantum systems. They're channeling all power into some kind of focused quantum pulse. They're planning something big. The ship rocked as enemy fire found its mark. Without the veil's protection, they were taking real damage for the first time in months. Shield status, Sarah demanded. 60% and falling, Rodriguez responded. The Spectre reports similar numbers. The Phantom's lost engine power. They're moving to defensive positions around New Alexandria. Aria's avatar flickered to life, its expression unusually urgent. Captain, analysis of Nexary energy patterns suggests they're attempting to create a controlled quantum singularity. Probability of success, unknown. Probability of catastrophic failure, 87.3%. Sarah's blood ran cold. The Nexary weren't trying to win anymore. They were willing to risk destroying everything to prevent humanity from maintaining their quantum advantage. They're going to collapse the entire sector into a quantum black hole, Elena realized, her voice shaking. The research center, the colonies, everything. It would all be pulled into a space where quantum probability itself breaks down. Sarah felt time slow as she processed their options. They could retreat, save their ships, but lose humanity's greatest research center. They could continue the conventional battle, but the Nexari would complete their quantum pulse before they could disable enough ships. Or they could try something that no one, human or Nexari, had dared attempt. Dr. Santos, Sarah said quietly, what would happen if we overloaded our quantum generators while synchronized with their pulse? Elena's eyes widened as she ran the calculations. The quantum resonance would be impossible to predict. We could cancel out their singularity, or we could accelerate the collapse of local space-time. There's no way to know. Better than watching them tear reality apart, Sarah decided. ARIA, signal the Spectre and Phantom. Upload quantum generator protocols to all ships. We're going to show the Nexari what happens when you push humanity to the edge of physics itself. As orders were relayed and systems reprogrammed, Sarah addressed her crew. All hands, this is the captain. What we're about to attempt has never been done before. We're going to deliberately overload our quantum generators in sync with the enemy's quantum pulse. Physics itself may break down around us, but we've never let impossible odds stop us before. The bridge crew worked with grim determination, knowing they were about to attempt something that violated the fundamental laws of reality. Through the view screen, they could see the Nexari fleet's crystal lattices glowing with building quantum energy. Enemy quantum pulse at 70%. Wong reported. Estimate 4 minutes to discharge. Begin quantum generator overload sequence, Sarah ordered. Route all power to the containment fields. When we do this, we do it together. The Shadow Weaver's quantum core began to pulse with impossible energy, its systems pushed far beyond their designed limits. Around them, the Spectre and Phantom did the same, their quantum generators spinning up to suicidal levels. Quantum pulse at 90%, Wong announced. 3 minutes to discharge. Elena's hands flew across her controls, making final adjustments. The resonance patterns are aligning. When their pulse meets our overload, the quantum interference will either save us or destroy everything within 10 light years. Space itself seemed to hold its breath as two civilizations pushed the boundaries of physics to their breaking point. The Nexari fleet's crystalline ships pulsed with building energy, while 3 human vessels prepared to match impossible force with impossible force. 1 minute to discharge, Wong called out. Enemy quantum pulse at maximum charge. Sarah gripped her command chair, feeling the ship vibrate as reality itself protested what they were about to do. All ships, synchronize quantum overload with my mark. We end this here, one way or another. The next 60 seconds stretched into eternity as human and alien technology built to unprecedented levels of quantum energy. Through the view screen, space itself began to distort, probability waves visible to the naked eye. Enemy discharge in 3, 2, 1. Now, Sarah commanded. 3 human ships released their quantum overload simultaneously as the Nexari fleet discharged their combined pulse. For a moment, all of reality seemed to freeze as 2 impossible forces met in the space between fleets. Then physics itself surrendered to chaos. A sphere of pure quantum possibility expanded from the point of collision, enveloping both fleets in a space where reality became fluid. Ships existed in multiple states simultaneously, energy became matter and back again, and time itself lost all meaning. When reality finally reasserted itself, the scene had changed fundamentally. The Nexari fleet hung in space, their crystalline ships transformed by exposure to raw quantum forces. But they weren't destroyed. They had evolved. They're different, Elena whispered, studying her readings. The quantum collision didn't destroy them. It changed them, changed us all. Through the quantum-altered view screen, Sarah watched as Nexari ships began broadcasting on all frequencies. Their crystalline structures now pulsed with the same quantum resonance as human vessels. They had been forced to evolve by the very forces they had tried to control. They're requesting communication, Rodriguez reported, his voice filled with wonder. Their message: they say they understand now. They say we've shown them a new path of evolution. Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the Shadow Weaver, watching as two civilizations that had fought for dominance over quantum reality now faced a future where both had been transformed by its power. They had reached the edge of evolution and stepped beyond it together. "Open a channel," she ordered. "Tell them humanity is ready to explore this new frontier together. We've all seen what lies beyond the quantum veil. Now let's see what we can become." Above New Alexandria, Human and Nexeri ships hung in space, their quantum signatures now harmonizing instead of clashing. They had begun this day as enemies fighting for control of reality. They would end it as pioneers on the edge of a new understanding of existence itself. The quantum war was over. The age of quantum evolution had begun.